Stop scrolling for just 10 seconds, because what you're about to hear isn't about Elon Musk. It's about the kind of mind that refuses to accept reality as permanent. And if you want more deep psychology like this, hit like and subscribe right now, because this story isn't motivational, it's unsettling. Elon Musk doesn't think like most people. That's not a compliment, that's a diagnosis. While the world wakes up thinking about bills, notifications, and weekend plans, Musk wakes up thinking about extinction-level events, artificial intelligence risks, and whether humanity deserves a second planet. His psychology is not built around comfort, it's built around urgency. And that urgency didn't appear overnight. He grew up in South Africa in an environment that was emotionally cold and socially violent. He was bullied relentlessly, physically beaten, emotionally isolated. Books became his escape, science fiction became his refuge, and instead of developing a normal sense of safety, his brain adapted to something else: abstraction. When life hurt, he escaped into systems, logic, and future worlds. That's important because when a child learns early that people are unpredictable, they often learn to trust ideas instead. This is where his obsession with the future begins. Psychologists call this compensatory control. When life feels chaotic, the mind seeks large-scale meaning. Some people turn to religion, some turn to relationships. Musk turned to civilization itself. He didn't want to feel safe, he wanted humanity to be safe. That's the core of his psychology. He doesn't build companies, he builds solutions to existential threats. SpaceX exists because he believes Earth is fragile. Tesla exists because he believes fossil fuels will destroy planetary stability. Neuralink exists because he believes humans will become obsolete without merging with AI. Starlink exists because communication infrastructure controls power. Even his interest in tunnels and transportation comes from one place: reducing friction between human potential and physical limits. Most entrepreneurs chase markets. Musk chases survival. This is first principles thinking in action. Instead of asking, "What do people usually do?" he asks, "What is fundamentally true?" He strips problems down to physics, cost of materials, energy efficiency, time delays. Everything becomes mathematical. Emotional considerations come later, if at all. That's why people often misunderstand him, because emotionally driven societies struggle to understand analytically driven minds. He doesn't respond like a traditional leader. He doesn't soothe audiences. He doesn't perform warmth. His empathy is abstract. He cares about humanity as a concept more than individuals as experiences. That's not cruelty. That's cognitive orientation. There's a psychological term for this: systemizing intelligence. It's the ability to understand complex systems while sacrificing emotional nuance. That's why he can fire thousands of employees and still sleep at night if he believes the mission requires it. His moral framework is utilitarian, not what feels right, but what produces the best long-term outcome. Now let's talk about money. Elon Musk does not psychologically relate to money the way most billionaires do. Wealth for him is not identity, it's fuel. Almost all of his money is tied up in companies. He famously lives in a small modular house. He sold most of his properties. He reinvests relentlessly. Why? Because psychologically, he doesn't experience money as comfort. He experiences it as leverage. Money gives him velocity. It allows him to bend reality faster. That's why he takes extreme risks with capital, why he puts everything on the line repeatedly, why he nearly went bankrupt multiple times. To him, playing safe feels more dangerous than risking everything. This comes from scarcity trauma. People who grow up unstable often develop high tolerance for uncertainty. Chaos becomes familiar, risk feels normal, stability feels boring. That's why Musk thrives in crisis. He performs best when everything is collapsing. SpaceX failures, Tesla production hell, financial cliffs, public backlash. These environments activate his nervous system. They don't overwhelm him, they focus him. He enters what psychologists call hyperproductive stress mode, a state where cortisol sharpens cognition instead of paralyzing it. Most people break under pressure. He becomes precise. Now let's talk about his relationship with social media. Musk doesn't use social platforms for validation. He uses them as real-time influence engines. He understands narrative power. He bypasses traditional media. He speaks directly. He provokes. He experiments. He tests public reaction like A/B experiments on consciousness, sometimes impulsively, sometimes strategically, sometimes recklessly. This behavior reflects something deeper, psychological dominance through visibility. He doesn't want approval, he wants control of the conversation. But there's a shadow side. His posts often reveal emotional impulsivity, reactive humor, sudden shifts in tone, moments of vulnerability followed by aggressive sarcasm. This suggests something called emotional oscillation, common in highly driven individuals who suppress feelings until they leak out sideways. He doesn't process emotion slowly, he discharges it publicly. This creates controversy, but controversy doesn't bother him. Attention is a resource. He knows that. Now let's talk about people. Elon Musk struggles with interpersonal stability. His relationships are intense but short-lived. His leadership style is demanding to the point of exhaustion. He expects employees to sacrifice personal life for mission alignment. Many leave burned out. Some stay loyal forever. Why? Because he doesn't see work-life balance as meaningful. He sees life itself as work. His brain is wired towards outcome, not experience. That's why people around him often feel emotionally invisible. He's present cognitively, not emotionally. This comes from early attachment wounds. When a child learns not to rely on emotional support, they develop self-reliance to extreme levels. But they also struggle to regulate closeness later in life. Musk doesn't need people to survive. He needs ideas. He connects through vision, not vulnerability. That's why followers see him as inspirational and critics see him as detached. Both are correct. Now here's the most important part. Elon Musk is not trying to be successful. He is trying to be necessary. His deepest psychological drive is existential relevance. He wants his life to matter at civilization scale. That's why Mars matters. That's why AI safety matters. That's why renewable energy matters. He's haunted by the idea that humanity could disappear before reaching its potential. So he works like someone racing against extinction. Sleep deprivation, 100-hour weeks, no vacations, constant pressure. This isn't hustle culture. This is survival psychology. He carries responsibility that most people never imagine, and that responsibility reshapes a human mind. He lives in future timelines. He emotionally inhabits scenarios decades ahead. Most people live in moments. He lives in probabilities. That's why he appears disconnected, because he's mentally somewhere else, always. There's also something darker. He has openly spoken about depression, emotional emptiness, feeling disconnected from joy. This is common in hyperachieving personalities. When your identity is tied to mission, stillness feels meaningless, peace feels unproductive. So the mind stays restless, always optimizing, always building, always unsatisfied. That's the cost. People think success brings peace, but minds like his don't seek peace, they seek progress, and progress never ends. So what drives Elon Musk's vision for the future? Fear of extinction, childhood isolation, system-level thinking, first principles reasoning, scarcity tolerance, existential responsibility, emotional detachment, abstract empathy, control through innovation. He is not trying to build a better life. He is building a survivable species. And that changes everything. He is not motivated by happiness. He is motivated by continuation. And that's why his psychology feels alien, because most humans optimize for comfort. He optimizes for permanence. He is trying to engineer a future that doesn't need him. That's the paradox. A man who wants to be remembered forever, building systems designed to outlive him. So the next time you see a headline, a tweet, a controversy, understand this. You're not watching a billionaire. You're watching a mind shaped by chaos, powered by logic, and driven by the quiet terror that civilization is more fragile than it looks. Elon Musk doesn't want applause. He wants humanity to wake up. Because in his mind, the clock is always ticking, and he refuses to waste time pretending everything is fine.